Hi there and welcome to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Kira and today I'm going to show you some really easy ideas for making bangles. I'll show you this one. It's a Basketweave bangle. Both of these were made in the same way. It's so simple that I just can't wait to show you. So let's get started. So all we're going to need for this is the set of graduated circle cutters, which are my current obsession. And I'm actually only going to use one, and it's the fourth one in on the set for me, and for you it might be a different one. This one is the 2 3/4 inch because this fits on my wrist like a bracelet. And the bracelet I'm going to make with it is even going to be just a little bit bigger than that because it's going to be formed on here. And these are so great because, as you can see, they're rolled at the top here. They are thick. It's pretty hard to bend these. I really love them because of that. And they don't have a seam on the outside or the inside. They're pretty well finished. So they're strong, they're circular. They don't have like a weird seam to give you a line on the clay or whatever, so I like those. So I'm going to move some things out of the way. I am using souffle. The color I have here is Bordeaux. And I've got some antique gold Pearl-Ex and my Basketweave tool from the metal tools set, and just my rubber tip tools that I always have lying around. So let's go ahead and get started forming the base of this bracelet, which I rolled and conditioned this Bordeaux clay. This is a number 2. And I am just going to stretch it a little because as I wrap it around here, I noted that it doesn't go all the way, but I don't need to pasta machine that anymore. I'm just going to gently pull and stretch just ever so gently. I mean, that's going to make it long enough. And I'm going to put it up to the top there. I'm going to cut off a straight bit. And I'm just going to kind of pull on it until it does meet on the other side. See, there we go. So now it's going to meet, and it's going to be just fine. So the reason I'm gonna do this in 2 layers, and I'm going to do that because this clay has a seam here. I'm going to use my tool to fix any of these. This top part tends to have sort of a little bit of it's where the clay like cracked a little. Okay. And because I have a seam right there, I'm going to make the seam of my other piece of clay, which is going over the top of this, in a different spot. And that way the 2 pieces of clay are not going to be seamed in the same place. And if there is any stress on the clay in like taking the bracelet on and off, the stress on the clay will be in 2 different places, and I'm hoping that that will really help it stay together and not come apart at the seams. So now I'm just going to come all the way around this bracelet and cut it to an equal thickness. Take care of some of those raggedy edges, which I will further fix with my tools in a second. But when you roll things on the pasta machine, sometimes you get sort of a ragged edge on them. And you can just take those down with a blade and then use some kind of a tool your fingers. I'm going to use my rubber tip tool to get rid of them completely and smooth it all down. Okay, so now I'm just gonna grab this little guy and kind of go along the whole thing, just pushing down those ragged edges. Okay, now you can decide at this point, maybe you think that you are good with this, but I'm going to make my bracelet just a little thicker so that I know I'm not going to have any problems later with it being too thin. And for that part of the process, I am going to go ahead and cut it first before putting this piece on. I'm going to cut it as straight as I can get it on both sides, and I'm going to try to make it about as thick as the bracelet itself that I'm making here. So just eyeball it. I'm not a big fan of strict rules and measurements. I prefer to eyeball it and go for it. Cut an edge here and pay attention to where your first initial seam is. I did such a good job melding mine together, I can't even find it. I think it's here. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this a little further up. And I'm just gonna wrap my clay all the way around till I get to the other side, right there. And then just meld those gently together with my finger. And I'm not going to worry too much about pressing this together because now the magic happens. Now I'm going to use my Basketweave tool. And all you have to do is flip it every time you lay it on the clay. And it magically makes this Basketweave pattern. All right, and I know what you're thinking. You're saying, but Kira, there's spots here where it doesn't go all the way down because it's thinner than the actual bracelet. So then you're just going to go like that on both sides because it's made to perpetually go in all directions. So you'll just look for the places where they need to line up. And it's going to be below where these three lines are because those go across the middle. And that's the narrow way. So if you twist it, you're going to be going down and then twisting. And then this way, that way, all the way around. And then when you're done, all you need to do is take your Pearl-Ex powder and highlight that pretty basket weave. Make sure you use a nice, bright, contrasty color. And get it all on the tops. And then all you have to do is bake it and pop it off the cookie cutter, and you've got a bangle bracelet. It's that easy. I hope you enjoyed this idea. Come back next week to see more Polymer Clay TV tutorials.